Hello, good morning, guys. It's been a long time I've been out of here. Sorry about that. A lot has happened over a period I've been absent. As you can see, the T-shirt I'm wearing. This is my that's my dad over there. I lost my dad at some point, and I got married. You know, so the break was, albeit regrettable but necessary. Um, So I think is marriage is an important step in every man's life, and I took it recently, and I feel nothing but a certain sense of fulfillment. Though the journey has not been entirely easy, you know, you look forward to a lot of things that give you headache, but I think is a necessary part of growth. Any young man that wants to grow, you know, should look forward to. It's also critical to find the right partner. So, first of all, talking about marriage because I, this is like a first-hand experience. I've seen why most of our men are seemingly justifiably not getting married. I see why the institution of marriage is dwindling in our society, especially let's leave out other you know nuances of societal pressure like maybe the woke message against marriage and all that. Let's leave that out. But I want to speak on the first of all. This is not what I'm here to talk about, though. First of all, I want to give my short experience in all this. Let's talk about the economics part. It is not a child's play. No matter how much you promise yourself at the onset that this event is going to be very modest, we are going to keep to a certain budget, blah blah blah, you know, you are very likely to break those promises. You are very likely to go beyond. In fact, you are very likely to borrow because unfortunately it's not something that you fix date, you've invited people know about it, and you can walk back on your talk. It's not that easy. Well, when it comes, it comes. You have, no matter what, you have to do what you have to do to let it come and pass. It's not something you can push back. So okay, I don't think I can do this anymore. You know, so I saw that it is not easy. It costs way much more than I was, looking forward to, and that was absolutely shocking. you know and this is why, because sometimes at some point I'm tempted to think, does this make economic sense? Because I've already started thinking how much we could save ourselves in the costs, how much the opportunity cost of spending such amount of money getting married. So that if we say budget this much now and say we are going to use it and do that, we are going to use it, we're going to put it into this, we're going to use it. I mean, there are so many ideas running in my head. I was like, I'll become a far better person in 3 5 years for those decisions. I was thinking in those lines, but yet again, sometimes it's not just about our wisdom. You know, it's not just about our wisdom. Marriage has survived centuries. This marriage has survived centuries, and no matter what you pay for it, mhm, man is, especially ambitious men like us, young men, are our mind sometimes are programmed to think in a short term. When things like that come, but marriage comes with a lot of long-term benefits. So whatever you invest in your marriage will actually be worth it at the end of the day. But the caveat is this: remember, it's necessary that you are doing it with the right person. That's the caveat. So, I think young men, a lot of our young men, the economic part of this aspect of this is playing a huge role in them not getting married. But this is a lot of pressure on our young men. I think our society is playing the economic part too much on this, because when you come to a balanced society, you know, I don't even use the Western society again as an example, because I think they are worse off than us now in certain aspects. So, but when it comes to a man being able to afford the roof over his head, put meal on his table for him and his family and all that, I think they are also better. And a man, no matter a working man, should be able to afford these things, not just for himself but for also his family. And it shouldn't be a big deal, to get married. It shouldn't involve so much economically, because when it does, everything in this life, everything is in nature is connected. One thing, something that hurts the toe might affect the eyes at the end of the day. Something that hurts the finger might affect the back. So this is how this life is connected. Everything we do is connected. So our economic disposition at every point in time reflects on the choices of the young people, in that society, and it goes a long way in affecting our everyday life. Talk about marital, our homes, and everything. So I think it also boils down to, the same thing I'm about to talk about, which is order and justice. Now, the black man, sorry to say, but I don't have a lot of respect for the black man. I am one, but I have my reasons. You know, the black man has been, and I think these are fragments of, colonial education and all that. It actually seeps into our bone marrow, that it will take a bone marrow transplant, so to speak, to remove that mentality. The black man is programmed to think in the short term. I've spent all my adult life in an African society. I know what it is like, and I know how we think. Unfortunately, and our elders these days, even my partner, sometimes when I talk about elders disrespectfully, I notice the shock in her face, the way I'm speaking about elders, but I'm not apologetic about it. I've had a lot of reasons to know that, our elders do not deserve as much respect we give them. They don't deserve half respect we give them. Most of them, at least, most of them, a good number I've met, they don't deserve it. They think the thing about leadership and being an elder is just age, and having seen more days without those days necessarily passing through you and through your character as a human being. That's what they think it's about. They don't get better with challenges. They don't get better with mistakes. They always seek the easy route. It's always about their ego or their clout, those ephemeral things. Unfortunately, what am I trying to say? When you come to a typical African or black society, especially when it comes to leadership and followership, these elders in positions of leadership, they are more concerned about order. They are not concerned about the necessity, how imperial it is that such order is founded on the precepts of justice. And that is what sustains order. Justice and equity actually sustains order. But order, in the real face of it, they are interested in the superficial, the window-dressed, situation where what our eyes can see, our hearts believe. But they don't know that belief don't necessarily come from the window of our eyes. It comes from the heart. And the belief that comes from the heart is more sustainable. It's more long-lasting. It lives for ages. It lives not in our body and flesh, but it lives in the ideas we espouse, and we transfer to our younger ones, to the generations to come. You see, a typical elder stroke leader in African society does not want to be challenged. They don't want to be challenged. They don't want They don't want their idea of leadership to be tested in the furnace, and see if it could withstand the heat. No, they prefer, the ego massaging and compliant pacifist followership that is not thinking, but that is just merely sheepishly following. And tell me how a society grows like that. Tell me how a society grows like that. Tell me how the great stories we have read about Alexander the Great, you know, the great stories we've read about, young individuals who achieved great things at very young age. Tell me if such achievements would have been possible, and if we have the grace of reading about those stories, if leadership was not about, ideas, the rubbing of ideas and the intercourse of ideology and great minds. It's not possible. So at the end of the day, everybody becomes a praise singer. Everybody becomes a psychopath. Everybody is about do whatever is necessary to get favor. Nobody, your convictions do not matter anymore. You cannot grow in conviction, in nobility, in the things and values you believe, but you just want to look good in front of you. You are more like, you are more interested in looks, than things that matter. So that is what I find to be, a fundamental problem. And you see this kind of problem, you can trace it back to every societal challenge this country is having today. You see two political candidates, you don't want to test them or belong to their queue behind them on the basis of the ideas they have or the basis of their ability and capacity. You want to queue behind them on the basis of what you can get, which in the grand scheme of things is, myopic. Because when a society is good, it's good for everybody. Not just the leader, not just the family, not just the person supporting, not just the followers, not just everybody and generations to come. When the society is bad, it's bad for everybody. It's bad for everybody, even the leader, even the follower that apparently thinks that he's getting small favors from, for his support. So you see that problem that we do not think in the long term. We do not think, our ideas, whatever we do, our actions are limited to our own narrow benefits, our immediate benefit, and sadly, when you see that this kind of thoughts, has ravaged a society, even the people that want to hold on to their unconventional ideas become the fools because they stand to lose more, So, and the society continues in the trajectory of rot, and self-inflicted folly because nobody is seeing a bigger picture. Nobody is interested in their next generation, even their own children. Let's even leave the next generation. Nobody, you are not interested in what you are leaving behind, the kind of society you are leaving behind for people that will come after you. You think for some brain fag, you think that your life is more important than the man standing next to you. You think that nothing matters aside where you are getting your next meal. That's just as sad as it is, depressing. And when you live in a society like that and you look at these things, you see these things in everybody around you, you are the odd one out, and it's quite something that can keep you up nights, But it's the way it is, and you just have to keep pushing. You just have to keep pushing, but having red lines on how much you can go in the kind of society, because Robert Greene says in his book Is it Robert Greene? I don't think it's Robert Greene. I think it's, I don't want to mention the name of the author. He's a very controversial author. But he said that everything must look good in the sight of public, and you must adapt, or else a bad system will choke even the good. You know, those of you that read will know where this idea is from. So that is what I have for you today. I want to be keeping my videos short now. It's even long already. I want to be keeping it short from now on, and I will also appreciate more feedbacks on these videos. And very soon I'm going to announce some features that will be coming up in these videos, so that to make it more engaging and entertaining. And hopefully I'm looking forward to hear from you, and have a nice day. This is a short one after a long break, so let me just not waltz into your lives and take too much of your time. Thank you. See you.